You're not losing because you're mistaken. You're losing because too many people have access to your inner world. Your dreams, your strategies, your vulnerabilities, they've all been broadcast like a public roadmap. And now, others walk freely through your mind, leaving marks on every thought you ever valued. The moment others understand your motivations, you've given away your edge. Power doesn't come from bold declarations. It comes from being unreadable, from letting others wonder what you're about to do next, while you stay 2 steps ahead. If your actions can be predicted, they can be prevented. If your mind can be interpreted, it can be manipulated. You may believe that being transparent is a virtue, that openness wins trust, that sincerity earns respect. But here's what you're missing. Information, in the wrong hands, becomes a weapon. People reflect your desires to gain your loyalty. They quietly sabotage your plans before they begin. They whisper doubt where certainty once lived. And when the time comes, they make your moves their own, executing before you can even act. You didn't lose because you were weak. You lost because someone else walked your path faster using your own map. If others can foresee your decisions, you've already given them the blade. The hard truth is this: the more visible you are, the more vulnerable you become. And when vulnerability enters the wrong room, it doesn't earn compassion. It invites destruction. The friendliest faces often hide the sharpest intentions. Predictability is a liability. The greatest leaders throughout history were never fully understood. They shared selectively. They offered just enough to seem honest, but never enough to be controlled. They let others think they had them figured out, until they did something no one could have foreseen. That's why the quiet person in the room commands the most attention. Not because they're mysterious, but because mystery itself is powerful. What we can't explain, we fear. What we can't anticipate, we respect. Mystery doesn't just make you interesting. It makes you untouchable. If they don't know your intentions, they can't interrupt them. If they can't predict you, they can't prepare for you. And that's when you stop being a pawn and start becoming the player orchestrating the game behind the curtain. When you tell others your next move, you're often seeking reassurance, approval, support. But in doing so, you forfeit your advantage. If the person listening doesn't fully want your success, your honesty becomes their ammunition. They'll smile, they'll encourage, but behind the scenes, they'll delay, discourage, or act before you. Not out of malice, but out of self-interest. Meanwhile, you believed they were allies. They weren't. They were observers with a front-row seat to your blueprint. The strategist doesn't announce. He studies. He prepares. He executes without ceremony. That's what power really looks like. No promises. No validation seeking. Just results. Let people see the outcome, not the preparation. Let them ask, how did that happen? Instead of, will he really do it? If you want real influence, speak less. Move without noise. Strike with the precision of someone no one saw coming. You don't need to broadcast your goals. You don't need to justify your silence. Let them assume you're lazy. Let them mock your quiet. Because when the moment arrives, you won't need to explain. Your results will speak so loudly that words become irrelevant. Machiavelli didn't just write about these principles. He lived them. He disguised one of the most dangerous political philosophies ever written behind charm and performance. That's how real strategy works. You don't just survive. You wait, outthink, and when the time is right, you dominate. Being underestimated is one of the most effective advantages you'll ever have. When they assume you're weak, they leave you alone long enough to build something unstoppable. Let them misinterpret your stillness as indecision. Let them think your quiet means defeat. Because every second they believe they know your next step is a second you've already changed direction. Every great tactician uses one sacred tool: misdirection. Say yes. Do no. Say soon. Act now. Say nothing. Let anticipation build. Misdirection isn't deception, it's a form of mental control. Influence is not just about what you say, it's about how others perceive what you might do. If they believe the wrong thing, they move wrong. And when they move wrong, you win, without even raising your voice. Today's culture encourages openness, transparency, authenticity. But Machiavelli would laugh. The more people understand your process, the easier it is to imitate you, block you, or dismantle your plans. Clarity only serves you when you already hold the crown. Until then, your silence should be your strongest defense. True strategy is building the fortress behind the curtain. When the gates open, everything is ready. And no one even knew you were working. Silence alone isn't power. It becomes power when it's paired with unpredictability. Anyone can stay quiet, but only a few can make their silence feel like a storm is coming. To be unreadable, speak in fragments. Drop ideas that conflict. Change rhythms before they get comfortable. Leave questions unanswered. Let them doubt what they thought they knew. And when they second-guess themselves, you've already won. Those who declare every goal, "Watch what I'm about to do," attract interference. They think speaking aloud makes things real. But public declarations only offer targets. You've told the world what you care about and where to strike. Let them talk. Let them broadcast. You build in silence. You make noise only with results. The most feared individuals are rarely the loudest. Their power lies in confusion, in contradiction, in subtlety. Not because they hide, but because no one can truly read them. Controlled ambiguity has three effects. It paralyzes your opponents. It draws in loyal allies. It commands respect because people follow mystery before they follow rules. You don't need approval. You don't need attention. You just need to plant doubt, everywhere but within yourself. That is influence. That is control. That is power. When you speak, you reveal your desires, your fears, your weaknesses. When you listen, you gather intel. The strongest tacticians guide conversations without dominating them. They ask one or two questions, and let others do the exposing. This is how the game is played. Every conversation is a contest over control. Control over tone, tempo, and truth. If someone frames a question to corner you, "Why are you hiding this?" a direct answer gives them the power. But the true strategist uses ambiguity, redirects focus, and regains control through silence and subtle redirection. If you want to know what someone really wants, don't interrogate them. Just make them feel seen, safe, flattered. Drop a vague truth, let them relax. And they'll reveal everything: fears, rivalries, aspirations, while you say almost nothing. That's the long game. No argument, no confrontation. Just silence, listening, and execution when the time is right. The final level of power isn't in being seen. It's in shaping the room without saying a word. True Machiavellian influence is when people shift their decisions and think it was their own idea. When rooms tilt around your presence alone. When you plant seeds, not orders. When you hold the frame without forcing it. Most think silence is emptiness, but to the strategist, it's stored energy, pressure, authority. Every unsaid word builds mystery. Every pause forces others to speak. Every quiet moment reveals more than noise ever could. And in that silence, the game isn't just played, it's won.